He's the host with the most, talking real estate from Georgian Bay, where dreams escalate with William Miles. He'll guide you straight to your perfect spot, no time to wait.
Welcome to the Georgian Bay Show. I'm William Miles with Royal LePage In Touch Realty in Midland and Georgian Bay Live on socials. I am here today because I want to provide great content, updates on what's going on in the real estate industry and surrounding fields. The plan is to invite guests who are also specialists in their own field but surrounding the real estate industry to give us insights into what's going on into today's market and into today's happenings. With Simcoe the way it is and with us the way we are, and we're a different area. So I want to be able to provide great content to people with good useful information, maybe tips on how to mark up your home, where the best ways to spend money are, it's spring, for example, and maybe you want to spend some money outside, but you might be better off putting in a garden instead of a rock front stairs, or who knows, right? It could be just anything. I've been in real estate now for 9 years. I celebrated my 9th year a week ago, and I'm into my 10th year in real estate as a local realtor, and as an investor, I've been doing this for 15 years, maybe 16 years. I've owned over 25 properties, so I decided to take the knowledge that I have in my own purchases and bring that forward to help others who are trying to do the same in their purchase or their sales, to help get people the maximum amount of money and help them get into the homes that they want. This community that I call home is tiny. I live in Tiny Township, which I lived in Penetang before when I first started in real estate. It's all the surrounding area. This area, as you know, if you're here, is very unique. There's tons of trails, there's tons of beaches, there's places to go, things to do. There's lots of things happening in downtown Midland. There's plays being put on by local theater groups. There's concerts. Midland and surrounding area is a fantastic place to be. And I've lived in a few different places in Canada, and I can tell you, with everything and all the amenities that are in town, and then the cities that are close, and then even being, only an hour and a half from downtown Toronto to get to games or get to events or sporting or theater, dinners out even. It's not such a far ride. And so we really do have a great community here. And I've been in Simcoe County in this area now. It'll be 11 years. And again, realtor for 9 and into my 10th year. And my sort of unique value proposition is I do a lot of real estate and I understand the area, but I also take my time to be with the clients and find out their specific needs and how I can best be of service and help them. I have great elevated marketing platforms. My social medias are at Georgian Bay Live. Go ahead and click a follow on Instagram and Facebook. We are there. That's where we're going to be posting videos and posting our content and getting our stuff out there. And of course, where you can reach me if you have questions, you can always direct message me. And of course, my other information is always included with that: email, phone number, etc., etc. I have a bit of a funny story in the industry. I was in my first year maybe, and I went to show a house, and it was my listing. And I went to the house, and when I arrived at the house, I was just a couple minutes early, so on time. And the person that I was going to meet, I'd never met them before. And when I got there, I got out of my car, and they were already there. They'd been there for a couple minutes. And I said, "Oh, hey, folks, how's it going?" And he immediately said, "I don't need to see this house. I'm not going to buy it." And I said, "Okay, no problem. Well, sorry the house wasn't right for you, the area, whatever it may be." He goes, "Yeah, it's the area. I couldn't see myself living here." No problem. A good learning experience for me was to say to my clients before that, take a ride by and see if you like the area first, and then we'll go in and see the house. The second experience for me there was I said, hey, listen, no problem. Thanks for coming out. If you need any help at all, give me a call. And in the meantime, have a great rest of your night. And the client said to me, well, don't I have to go in and see the house? And I asked him, if it looks like, the Grand Palace inside, will you buy it? And he said, no, I wouldn't buy this house. I can't get past the location. I said, okay, well, your time is very valuable. So I won't waste it. No problem. We don't need to go in. I've seen inside. It's my listing. So he said, yeah, okay, thanks a lot. And then we just went our separate ways. And about 3 days later, I got a phone call from him again. And he said, hey, William, we found the house we want to buy. And I said, great, let's set up a showing. And why did you decide to call me back? And he said, well, first off, you were super honest. You didn't want to waste my time. You understood where I was coming from. I really appreciate that. A lot of people would have, forced me to go through that house and to try to capture my business. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. He goes, I really like that you didn't. You were just like, hey, no problem. I really appreciated that level of honesty with you, that you were ready to just, help me if I needed it. And because you were like that, I want to work with you. I said, great, let's go see this house. And he's like, I've already seen the house. I've been there. I said, what do you mean you've been there? You got to call the agent you saw it with. You can't call me. He said, well, no, I didn't see it with an agent. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we were driving by and we saw a sign on the lawn and there was no cars in the driveway. And we pulled into the driveway and the door to the house was flapping in the wind, just wide open. And I said, okay, so you're calling me now because you want me to go and close the door and take you through it, right? He said, no, we walked through the house. There was nobody here. I said, you can't do that. He said, what we did? I said, well, we should book a showing so I know what I'm helping you to buy so I can help at least to understand what it is you're purchasing. He said, it looks vacant. Maybe we can get in there now. We're still here. Well, you're still there. Okay. So I immediately booked a showing and I was allowed, I was granted access because it was a vacant property. I got there. It turned out there was no key in the lockbox. There was no key in the door. So I then informed the listing realtor that, hey, your door is wide open here and there's no key in the lockbox. So do you mind if we go in with the door wide open? The agent had said, no, go ahead, but just please close and lock the door after you leave because it is vacant. I said, absolutely no problem. It's vacant. So we go through the house, we get out of the house, I close and lock the door because it just had the handle locked. So I closed that, made sure it was locked. I want to make sure it's secure. When we get outside, there's a realtor there and he's like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I showed this place 2 hours ago and I must have forgot to lock the door. And so the reason I think that's a funny story is this guy is no longer in real estate. He was a character. And the clients went into the house without anybody being there. And they did end up buying the house. And it was one of the funnest, sort of from point A to point B experiences because the clients were just amazing. They knew right away what they wanted. They didn't hesitate to buy it when they saw what they wanted. And I would have shown them, as many properties as it would have taken to find the right one. In this case, I didn't even, I showed it to them, but I didn't even really have to, but I did because to do my job. But they had decided before I even got there that they were going to buy the house, and then they did. It's very interesting the way that plays out sometimes. So just wanted to share a little of that. And of course, you can reach me on my socials at Georgian Bay Live. My website is georgianbaylive.ca. It's got all my contacts there, email, et cetera, et cetera. If you're not already following me, give me a follow on those social platforms as well. And what I'll be looking to do with this podcast moving forward is We're going to look at some trends, what we see happening across the region as things are happening in real time. We're going to try to update once a week with some data, give you that information, keep putting it out there so that people can get a real good understanding, because we are in the information age. And I know there's a lot of different websites that people go to, but then when I show them the real information, it doesn't always match up what these websites are posting. So it's not always accurate. So if you do have a serious inquiry, please just reach out and I'll definitely get that information for you. Simcoe is a great area, Midland surrounding area, like I said earlier, great community. We can go through some stuff, what to look for when buying or when selling a home. And I'll be doing some of that, little sort of segments as we go. This is sort of the introduction to the podcast, and then the podcast will be to follow. And there are a lot of benefits to working with me as a real estate professional, such as inside market knowledge, understanding pricing, negotiation, and being able to have access to any property that's on the market. I don't have to be the listing agent. It just has to be available to the public, and I can get us access with lockbox codes. And then you have your own personal tour of the property where there's nobody else putting pressure on you. I'm just there to help open the doors, look for things, and help guide you through the process. I'm more of a guide now, I would say, than a salesperson in the traditional sense, because there's so much information at our fingertips these days that it really becomes like you're not going to care how much I know, because you can just find it out anyways. So the real truth is I work by referral, and I have for 90% of my business since year one. And the reason for that is because of the services that I provide. The people tell their friends and family to work with me. And I've always done things this way so that I can provide a higher level of service and not have to spend my time doing what everybody else does, which is look for their next deal. Okay? We're going to talk about what's influencing the market. We're going to talk about world stage stuff. We're going to talk about local stuff. We're not going to get into nitty-gritty politics or religion or anything like that. But outside factors that affect the real estate market, we will talk about. We're going to talk about, again, the more the benefits of working with me throughout. And again, I'll pass on tips, tricks, and things to do to prepare your house. And you can also, check back with older videos. There's some of that too. We'll talk about where the market's going to go. We'll talk about the challenges the market is having, where we could see it going. Just remember, though, when I start forecasting things, or if I have a guest on and we're talking about what we see in the future, we don't actually have crystal balls. If we did, probably we're not doing the podcast. We're somewhere enjoying all our money. We'll talk about all that, and again, the thing is, like, where to find me. I've said it a few times now, but it's at Georgian Bay Live. On pretty much any platform. If you're looking for me on TikTok, we're just going to get that up and running, but I think it's Mr. House Hunter. So you can check me out on TikTok. I do have a couple videos there. We're going to get a little more of that going over here. And in upcoming episodes, we'll do some lifestyle properties. We'll maybe get out and see a nice listing and a couple of nice houses. And we'll talk about transitions in people's lives when people are moving, and, your own take. We could talk about, send your questions in to me. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about, if you'd like to see a specific guest or somebody who has different insights on what's going on than I do, but is it related, let me know. I'm looking for guests to have on the podcast, and would be glad to have some suggestions if or if you want to be on the podcast, let me know. Farewell, and stay tuned for more insights in our next episodes.
He's the host with the most, talking real estate from Georgian Bay, where dreams escalate with William Miles. He'll guide you straight to your perfect spot. No time to wait. Hear the waves crashing, feel the sun